Robocop Rogue City ignores the most recent rendition of the franchise and returns to when Peter Weller first donned the suit in 1987. The game takes place between the events of the second and third movies, but really just aims to please the fans of the original film, and it does that in a few different ways.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Clarence, no! Hit it!
Marching through the city, you'll see that Robocop's VHS-inspired heads-up display will bounce to the sound of his heavy footsteps. You'll get to don his infamous burst pistol and even take on his predecessor, Ed 209.
Please put down your weapon. You have 20 seconds to comply.
Please give the video a like and remember to subscribe. It's completely free and really helps the channel. Okay, let's go. Robocop Rogue City was developed by Teon, who was previously known for Terminator Resistance in 2019, and published by Nacon. Yeah, the Nacon that makes controllers and other video game accessories. Gunned down by a local drug-dealing gang, Agent Alex Murphy gets brought back to life by OCP thanks to a cybernetic transplant and becomes part man, part machine, with a program to defend the citizens. Robocop Rogue City launched in 2023, a year where it seemed like big movie tie-in games were falling flat on their face, such as Rise of Kong and Lord of Ring Gollum. Rogue City launched alongside them and blew them all out of the water, critically and commercially. As you know, the franchise was attempting a reboot in 2015, which failed spectacularly. Shying away from the darker tones and bloody presentation of the 1987 movie, it missed what made the original a cult classic. The thing about Robocop is that it shows a ravaged old Detroit that's been overrun by criminals, to the extent that the city has decided to allow the OCP full control over the Detroit Police Department. Omni Consumer Products is a consumer technology company, always looking to create products for the general public. In all intents and purposes, this company runs the city, in more ways than one. They were even planning to create a new city within Detroit for them to fully govern themselves. This is the same company that created Robocop. The movie touches on themes of humanity as well as greed and corruption, but despite all of that, the film isn't really meant to be taken super seriously. I think this was pretty obvious, seeing that the original had comical amounts of gore and the infamous scene of a man getting his giggle stick shot off. Rogue City continues with both of these aspects. We see that Detroit is littered with garbage while graffiti covers most of the building's exteriors. With criminals and prostitutes roaming around every street corner, it's very clear that this isn't the ideal place to live. But there's also moments of clear comedy to remind you that this is centered around a cop that's a robot after all.
Who's there? You have to help me, man. This shit is burning my skin.
Look at this dude. Wait till you see the...
Sunblock is police.
No.
Open the door. I have the warrant.
Oopsie, I think I dropped my key somewhere. You'd have to break down this hardened door if you want to get in.
That will not be a problem.
The game is a first-person shooter with detective-based mechanics. Using the left trigger, you can zoom into Robocop's infamous burst pistol to give him a lock onto threats. But outside of combat, LT is a visual mode to allow you to highlight interactable items, clues, and objects of interest. There will be times where the game just leaves you alone in an area to find clues for yourself. Read notes, find hidden stashes, and search your environment for things that will help you solve cases. The main quest mainly revolves around a new gang leader who goes by the name Soot. His followers are called Torchheads or some shit, so they'll be the main force that you'll be up against, at least until a new baddie takes over. They tend to have a limited weapon arsenal, which you can pick up and use at any time. But the game really wants you to use your pistol though, seeing that it has unlimited ammo. A quick thing about the pistol, it's fucking awesome. It sounds very accurate to the film. I do wish it had a bit more reverb though. Back to Soot. As you make your way through the story, you'll be using detective tools to track him down and attempt to shut down his operation. As in most games, these main quests are given to you, along with some side content. The main quest is as indicated as a closed circle on your HUD or in the menu. These will continue your search for soot. Between some of these missions, you are left in the open city of Old Detroit to explore the streets. You can just walk around, taking in the dirty atmosphere, completing side missions, or issue tickets and warnings to citizens who break the law. These can be from parking tickets to graffiti to soliciting or even hooligans giving shopkeepers a hard time. I found these to be pretty well integrated into the game. I expected one of these on every block, but they were surprisingly sparse. It made them feel spontaneous because I never knew when I'd come across one. Unless I was in Robocop vision, then they would highlight green to get my attention. Every time you gain access to the open world, there'll be something unique about it, from weather changes and even a planned event. You can also find extra side missions while in the open world. These are typically other officers that need your help in some way. They don't really thrust you into an active quest, but they open the door and allow you to assist if you want to.
Murphy, this is Reed. Mayor Kuzak just stormed into my office. Apparently, his niece's car has been stolen.
Good side quests, I think, require three main things. They need to be fun to do, keep it fresh by giving you unique objectives, and the icing on the cake is to have you do these new things using familiar mechanics. Where am I going with this? This game feels low budget in a few different ways. Holding some weapons looks a little off, the facial animation is a little uncanny valley for me, and little graphical glitches that should be an easy fix. But the side content really surprised me. It's not the best I've ever seen, but usually with smaller titles like this, the optional content is what we see takes the largest hit from budget restraints. They are fun and unique enough that I always made sure to do them before the main quest. They were having me explore new areas and speaking to new characters, sometimes doing things that are nowhere else in the game. One side quest had me test out a new officer's service weapon. First, I did the shooting range with mine to show him how it's done. I got hundreds of points, and then he asked me to do it again with his weapon. When using his pistol, I couldn't even hit 5 points. Or another one, where I entered a unit to find someone who was hiding from some thugs. As we were talking, we heard the thugs enter the front entrance and start taunting him before they realized that I was there.
Hello? Anybody home?
These are simple, but I love small shit like this. Even the main quests have some good variety. I fought alongside Ed 209, competing to see who could take down the most bad guys in a specific area, and then I raided offices with the SWAT team. A lot of these areas look great, and even have breakable and destructible walls that will crumble under gunfire. Another thing I like are the skills. Each category gives you a different buff based on each of the game's systems, like hacking, speech, combat, and some of the categories even give you abilities. The one that I got pretty early on gave me a dash. I found it useful when going from cover to cover, or closing the distance to an enemy. Grabbing and throwing enemies against walls instantly kills them, and melees up close kill the weaker enemy types. You get other abilities too, like a slow-mo, and as you add points to that path, it'll make that skill even stronger. Final thoughts now. Overall, I was pretty surprised by the game. This is clearly a AA kind of game, but it surprised me in almost every aspect. I do have to point out that the game has quite a few glitches to go along with the graphical hitches that I mentioned earlier. I haven't come across anything that breaks the game though. There was one part where I was supposed to interrogate Soot, but I threw him into a wall.
Is that supposed to scare me? Not a single scratch.
The game respawned him somewhere where I could continue. Plus, there are tons of Easter eggs. I showed you the Can You Fly Bobby one, but there are quite a few more if you look for them. The game is a great homage to that first film, and a must-play for gamers that want to step into Murphy's metal boots. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm on Twitter or X at SilverJS, and on Instagram at JSSilver. 3s for the E's. I'll see you all in the next one. Stay safe.